Welcome back to my CryptoQ Media channel. It's great to have you back. Eleanor Tariq of Fox News was informed by an SEC insider who just left the agency that the agency is likely to appeal. So, we'll take a close look at what she said. I don't see this as particularly groundbreaking. Many have speculated that the SEC will almost certainly file an appeal against that ruling. This is why we're going to have a look at the possible explanations. We shall seek Mark Fagel's viewpoint. Next, we'll examine the practical implications of this. Jeremy Hogan. What does its significance mean to us? The thing is neither too little nor too much. It is situated on the boundary. Then, I suppose we should examine Eleanor's statement. She tells me that an ex-lawyer of the SEC's would tell her that the agency would probably appeal. As the saying goes, everyone over there at the SEC truly believes the decision is wrong and that it's not good law and should be appealed. Judge Torres is set to rule on July 22, 2023, about the XRP programmed cells in the Ripple case, in part because of this concern. This is how I envision events developing, and while they may be dissatisfied with the decision, I think it's fantastic and wonderful all the same. It may not be considered wrong by them. Some people just don't like it. As Gary Gensler has said time and time again, disliking the law is completely different from failing to understand it. While I am aware that Mark Fagel finds the outcome to be very puzzling, be assured that his opinions will be carefully considered. Having special protections for these very smart institutional investors seems unfair. Extra disclosures and registrations are Ripple's responsibility to give them. But there's no profit for them when they sell to open market naiveties. There it is, they're left for dead. It provides no information and doesn't appear right. Given that I concur with them, that doesn't make much sense. Even if it's disheartening, it proves that new regulations are required. Many of these cryptocurrency projects should publish dependable reports to us on a weekly or yearly basis. We also require laws that are straightforward. For the time being, all that counts is if Judge Torres, looking at the law, makes the right decision. If the SEC is dissatisfied with the outcome, it won't matter if they win the appeal or not. Does the appeal process hold any hope for their case? Would it help or hurt things, and would it be a good use of their limited resources? Here is where we ask about that. Hello, this is Jeremy Hogan. Following his logic, they must think the position is wrong. They lost, disappointingly. This is the interesting section. After comparing Ripple's and the SEC's sales figures, we see that they were very close to one another. There would have been no difference in the fine. Going in, you probably knew this may be the result, but it wasn't great. Programmed cells, secondary markets, and exchanges are all things that the SEC is worried about. That was also hinted to by Mark Fagel. Based on his assessment of the existing legal situation, SEC is likely to lose a substantial part of this case, and that is exactly what happened. If an appeal helps the SEC achieve its goals of protecting investors and creating capital, then it should consider it, says Jeremy. Its primary focus isn't that. For what reason? Evidence that the SEC lacks leadership continues to mount. The individual whose view I will express here is not a lawyer. Even though I don't claim to be an attorney, I believe the SEC should appeal Judge Torres's decision that the programmatic sales were a security offering if it believes Torres was wrong. They must appeal immediately. Due to their lack of experience, secondary market investors are more likely to lose money. They simply cannot overlook that. Please tell us if the SEC is dissatisfied with the outcome or if the decision was incorrect. There is a distinction between not understanding what Judge Torres put out there and disliking a statute, as Gary Gensler repeatedly maintains. We have a good plan. These digital assets do not represent ownership in anything, as is evident upon closer examination. They are not a collateral for a loan. If an asset does not already meet the criteria for a traditional security, it must be enclosed in an investment contract in order for it to be considered a security offer. Judge Torres explicitly indicated his position. If you're just selling on the secondary market without doing any research, you could be in danger, even though her reasoning seems reasonable. The bulk of people probably won't even argue against that, either. In my view, they will likely simply yell at him and say this. This is wrong. The SEC ought to keep an eye on regular people who invest, not big organizations. What does that even mean? Again, some rules must be in place. We need some new regulations. Despite our best efforts to get their attention, they maintain that the rules are crystal clear. The rules apply to everything similar to this. You just heard it from Judge Torres. Such is the operation of the laws. I think you will probably get the same result on appeal if the SEC merely disagrees with the current statute. In Gary's view, that is so. Consult an appellate court for a ruling. Do not file an appeal. Instead, you should strongly push Congress to amend the rules. If the people or MPs don't like the current regulations, he says, Congress may write new ones. Affected are both parties. This way, both sides are affected. Another target is the SEC. To this day, I maintain that Judge Torres correctly applied the law. Nobody can really argue against this. Now we'll see if Mark Fagel's claim that programmatic sales lost ground to institutional sales is correct. While I cannot answer for the majority, it appears that he is alluding to the comment in which he states that, despite the fact that the majority of SEC employees had the belief that Judge Torres was incorrect, he now believes that the transactions were roughly equal in terms of cash. While he acknowledges that the issue isn't directly related to finances, he maintains that the programmatic sales loss is significant enough to warrant an appeal. When pressed, Mark will claim the result is irrational, but he will disregard the reality that the law mandates an alternative result. Defending the premise that an institution should be subject to more scrutiny and given more information than the typical citizen is difficult, and Mark just doesn't agree with the result. No matter how absurd it may seem, the law states as much. However, did you hear there would be no need to offer securities or make any other contributions if they bought the institution on the secondary market? Their exaggeration makes it clear that is not true. The outcome, meanwhile, probably won't be great for Ripple's losers. Much more money will need to be paid. This is unfair. If these efforts could give us a report detailing their inner workings, we could invest in them with certainty, knowing what was really going on. Legislators in Congress are the real lawbreakers, but until they pass new legislation, this will do. The assignment is theirs to finish. What on earth is going to happen here? The SEC has trouble digesting it. On rare occasions, it was decided that these assets could be turned into securities. It is as simple as that. Would they be able to accept this result? I am not Gary Gensler. Plus, I'm not an attorney. Permit me to be perplexed. We will discover the reality. If XRP investors choose to appeal, what does this mean for them? What will happen is this: when all is considered, the end outcome will be a small decrease in your top-end price appreciation. The next version of XRP will be more efficient than the last. It has a lot more liquid in it. Our listings on major US exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken, along with all the others that serve the US market, will probably be unaffected by an appeal. Even if it isn't the only power in the world, America is making a big splash and will continue to do so. Upgrades to the XRP ledger have been substantial. There are a lot of exciting things happening right now as this industry is having a bull run. Additionally, this is the first time ever that Yahoos may buy XRP during a bull run. By opening the Coinbase app, achieving this, in my view, will be crucial, and they will accomplish it. So, we know that XRP will probably do better. We truly value having you here today. For the time being, I ask that you subscribe and favorite my channel.